Hey guys, how we all doing? My name is Sam with Sota Exotics, and today I got a really exciting video because one of my female Eastern Hermanns tortoise just dropped a clutch of eggs. So today I'm gonna show you guys what I do to prepare them for artificial incubation. So stick around and find out what I do. Okay, so I'm kind of filming this video in bits and pieces. I did actually get a video of her physically dropping the eggs, which is really cool because if you guys look here, I keep all of my Hermann's tortoises in an indoor setup. So for them to be dropping eggs, and this is probably the fourth clutch I've gotten in terms of Hermann's eggs dropping in captivity, which is great because they're not even outside. They're dropping full clutches of eggs indoors in indoor situations, which I think is awesome. So I'm gonna link a quick video of her that I was able to take of dropping her egg. The video is tilted, so it's gonna look a little bit weird on your screen, but I think it's cool just to have the video of her of me catching the egg that she initially dropped when digging her nest. All right, guys. So my first step that I like to do before I dig up the eggs is actually set up my incubator. So I use a hovabator, which you can get believe you can get them on Amazon, but there's a lot of reptile shops that sell them as well. This is an excellent. It holds temperature really well, but the thing is, it takes a while to adjust the temperature because this is your thermostat right here. So I use a multiple different temperature gauges to verify the temperature and everything that I keep around in different spots in there. But I like to set it up initially. Now, when artificially incubating tortoise eggs, I am aiming for my Eastern Hermanns tortoises to measure at about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason for this is because I want to temperature sex them for all females. Now, the reason I'm temperature sexing them for females is because females are typically more valuable when it comes to reptiles because they are the ones that can reproduce. And in terms of conservation work, they are the ones that will help keep the species alive. Now, these are Eastern Hermanns tortoises. These guys are everywhere. They have no threat of going extinct because they are absolutely everywhere in captivity. However, I am going to incubate them for females just because why not? Lower temperatures will produce males. Higher temperatures will produce females. I don't have the exact measurements or temperatures ranges that give those parameters, but I do know that at 88 degrees, it should produce females, hopefully. All right, so I'm gonna be kind of moving a little bit backwards, I would say, because I have already put the eggs in the incubator, but I wanna show you the process of what I do when doing this. So I go to Home Depot and you can use vermiculite. I use perlite. You can get a bag of this size. I believe it's just under $10. So what I do is I get a healthy layer inside of a deli dish, some sort of container that can hold the eggs. And then what you do from there is you'll just add some water to it to get it nice, and you don't want it soaking wet. The idea is you want it to be able to be squeezed and not have anything drip out. So you can see here I used actually way too much. So what I'm gonna do is add a little bit more of the perlite. It kind of stinks because I'm gonna end up just having to throw this away because I'm not gonna be using this, but so now you can see it has thickened quite a bit. And the idea is you want to be able to squeeze it and you have nothing coming out, but you see that it's holding its shape. So once that's good, what I like to do is I kind of nestle 3 little spots because she did lay a clutch of 3 eggs. So what I'm going to do is nestle 3 spots, and that will be a good holding ground for the eggs. All right, once you have that set, and obviously you should already have your incubator going, the next step is to place the eggs in those little nestled spots. You want to be careful when digging up the eggs to not rotate them. And that way, because you don't cause the yolk to drown. However, I was able to dig up the nest within a few hours of her dropping it, so they should be good. Now, they have it all nestled in the spots. What I did is I took a pencil and I wrote the date that she dropped them. So she dropped these on July 23rd. I wrote that at the top there. And then what you want to do is kind of move the perlite or vermiculite around the egg to kind of just keep it secure in place. And then final step will be to add a little bit of sphagnum moss, and that will help hold humidity on the eggs. And the finished product should look something a little bit about this. And then what I like to do is I take a thermometer with a humidifier, or a, I guess, moisture meter, technically, whatever it's called, humidifier, hydrometer, and place that on there. And then that is good to go in the incubator. Now, you can cover it, but you want to loosely cover it because you do want airflow in there so you do not accumulate mold. And I want to keep it at around 80% humidity in there. And again, mold is going to be the enemy. You do not want it to get too dry, but you do not want it to get too moist as well. So I got this all set up in here. I got water at the very bottom down there. The temperature has already been set. Obviously, you can tell I've left it out for a little bit, so the temperature is dropping. But all that's left to do is place this back on. And then what I could do is I could check through this little window and keep an eye on the eggs. Now, the idea is in about 60 days, these eggs should begin to hatch. But I'm going to keep an eye on it. In the meantime, you want to check and make sure they're not rotting. Make sure they're not having any smells of eggs going bad or anything like that as well. Now, as I said, after about 60 days, those eggs should hopefully begin to start pipping and hatching. And I'll probably make another follow-up video around then, assuming that they are viable eggs. If you guys watched one of my videos a couple months ago, I actually had quite a few eggs from a couple of my tortoises. Unfortunately, they all ended up not being fertile, so they were no good. I am a little bit more optimistic about this clutch though, because right when we moved into our house, my males started breeding with our females immediately, and after about 60 days, she did produce these eggs. So I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic and hope that these eggs are fertile, but obviously we can't tell for sure until they actually start to hatch out. But again, I'll be keeping my eye on them until then. And once those do begin to hatch, I'm gonna raise them up until they're ready to be healthy and strong and viable past those few first months or so of life. Once I see that they're eating healthily, they seem to be growing smoothly, I will put them up for sale and people will be able to purchase them for me. Nonetheless, it is super exciting when you do get some eggs because it shows that, you know, something's got to be going right. The animals are producing with each other, which is awesome, especially in a captive environment. So I'm really excited for this, and as well as my future breeding projects as well. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video, and we will catch you next time.